This is Tara Helen Boyle. She's beautiful, isn't she? Okay. Good afternoon, James, and good afternoon, Commissioner of Mystic, if you ever get to see this video message. This is the first video message I've ever done in my life. The purpose of this is I would really like to explain about my case and to why it got so big and ugly and out of hand. Today's date is the It's the 14th of November, and the time is 2:25 in the afternoon. James, I thank you for your email. What was that, on the 11th of November, saying that it would not assist me, the Commissioner, knowing about this case. However, I've been trying, let's just say, every imaginable office and department to seek some help. I've never ever been able to get a solicitor to help me. I gather they just want simple cases, and when I have asked solicitors for help, they have said that they just do not have the resources to help me, and many other, excuses. Where do I start? Okay. Anyway, I can't even remember if I said my name. My name is Hugh Boyle. Okay, I've been bedridden with cancer for 2 years. Anyway, so I'll try and be as coherent as possible, considering the amount of issues and the amount of assumption. I would like to say one thing as well, though. My teeth have all rotted away with chemotherapy, and I went black, but it's neither here nor there. I'm not really too bothered about it. James, I have always been a very, very, very truthful and honest person, and this is why I believe that no one has ever really wanted to interview me properly. And it may be the case that people were scared in authority that of the things that they don't know of, and the things that the further things that I would like to just say about this case and how alarming and how pretty dreadful it got. Okay. I met my daughter's mother in 1995, 1996. Blah blah blah. It was not easy. She was already married. Her family were we were on the run, basically. Myself, her two daughters and her son. Anyway, a police officer from Southall and a lady in the Social Security kept going into their computers and finding their addresses, and they even came to Scotland and my partner was pregnant at the time, and obviously whoever it was, or it was a police officer or the lady in the social security that gave out the address, my partner was found by our family. They put her to the ground and they jumped on her stomach and they killed my unborn son. Anyway, okay, so it gets to roughly November 2002. My ex-partner said to me that she would like to assist a police officer to marry one of his friends, or to keep them in the country. This marriage did go ahead some point in 2003. Okay, I know this for a fact. Anyway, myself and my daughter are living at home between January 2003 and May 2003. Mother went off with her new boyfriend, and I think she'd given her daughters back to their father, and whatever. Anyway, it was confirmed there was a conspiracy done by an officer to assist Miss Aberville to get me and my daughter out of our house where we were living. And this did happen. I was accused of racially aggravated harassment and common assault. Anyway, after a year or so later, when I went to Isleworth Crown Court, and after I'd sent a 22-page letter to Sir John Stevens, the Commissioner, dated 12th of July 2004, that this case was not in the public's interest. Okay. Anyway, I got as I say, between January and May 2003 we were living at home, and then my ex-partner come along, I think it was the 13th of May, said to me, I warned you to get out of the house, you didn't. But the truth is, me and my daughter went to the council, they would not help us. We went to the social services, they wouldn't help us. I was in constant phoning the police advice line in Hounslow. So thank God for the computer. There's many other agencies as well. Anyway, I eventually got my daughter back August. I collected my daughter from my solicitor's office in Wellington Road, Mackenzie & Co. This was August 2003. Pardon me. Once again, we went to Hounslow Council. They wouldn't help us. So I had to drive back to Scotland that same day with my daughter Tara. I'm not forgetting I'd just already driven down from Scotland the night before to collect my daughter. Now the main fact of this case is a police officer did coerce or conspire with others. I'm not sure of all the details, but I do know it did happen. Okay, that's a fact. Now, as a result of the 22-page letter to Sir John Stevens dated 12th of July 2004, it tells of mine and Tara's journey, where we had to live and how difficult things were, and asking if Tara could see her mother and her sisters. A High Court advocate, Allard Darlington from Vigia & Co. said, boy, if you had ever seen a letter, that was the one. Anyway, as a result of this letter, a very alarming one. There was an awful lot of surveillance put on myself and Tara, and I can understand as to why, because of all the issues and, but no one would ever come and talk to me direct. It was always from a distance. And I had two lodgers living with me as well, Malcolm, a bus driver, and another little lad called Dave. Now, Hounslow Police and other agencies were gleaning information from them. And I knew this because Malcolm and Dave, they started to question me, and everyone knows when they're getting questioned, okay? So because I knew this, I was starting to fill their heads up with rubbish, basically. Right, I just wanted to, you want to play a game, let's play a game. So I give them a lot of nonsense they would relate to others. So, it's the way it went. Now, I had to make up one lie. That lie was that I knew somebody special, and that person was overseeing this case. I had to do this because I was rather scared. And hopefully, the way I'm talking right now is a penultimate, and I hope I really get that ultimate interview, is to explain why, how, there's just so much I would like to explain. But I've never had that chance. Yeah. Anyway, so a lot of surveillance is on myself and Tara and blah 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 blah. The 6th of October 2004 comes, and the authorities come into my house. There was mental health, there was Desmond and Tracy, there was a lifelong children and families lady named Lorraine, there was an acting sergeant named Robert from Surrey Police, there was a police lady as well, I don't think I got her name. There was also a Dr. Murphy as well, psychiatrist. So I'm in the bedroom, just sitting on the bed, and I've got these people all around me, and Tara's two half-sisters were come round to my home that evening as well, 59 Convent Road, Ashford. So it was all pretty set up. Anyway, because of things that were happening that I would like to explain at a later date, I was rather scared of everyone, and I was really scared. I just didn't know what was happening. So they were saying to me that I was mentally unwell and they wanted to take me to hospital. And I honestly thought that they were going to take me to a hospital and maybe an accident would have happened with me and maybe I would have died or something. I don't know, I was just really, really scared. So after saying to everyone in authority, yeah, I'll just run a bath and I'll go to the hospital. I went in and I ran the bath, and everyone in authority went outside left my property in the courtyard. So then I went into my front living room. It's a ground floor flat. I opened up the window and I stepped out and I ran for my dear life. And in those days I could barely walk on my legs with all the stress. I was wearing bandages, but I made it somehow. I ran, and I asked the local off licence man if I could sleep in his van overnight, which I did. But After about half an hour or so in the van, I could hear a helicopter, and well, there must have been a hell of a palaver to find me. Um, so I think it was about 7 o'clock in the morning. This shop was on Feltham Hill Road, corner of Convent Road. I started walking down School Road. A police car passed me in it with a lady heading towards the BP garage on School Road. Then all of a sudden she turned and come back again and had a good look at me and then just drove past. So anyway, cut long story short, I was so scared I made my way to junction 1 of the M3 motorway. I climbed up the ladder. Still wasn't easy. There was this huge spider's web and it bellowed. So I thought, wow, I'm going to have to do it. I'm scared, I'm terrified of spiders. God knows it's the size of spider that must have been to create such a huge web. Anyway, I crawled on my hands and knees and I crawled all the way under it and I started waving my arms. I wanted to be seen, I was so scared. Anyway, Paul James comes along and Jeff Hill. Paul come up and he said to me, Hugh, are you going to come down? I went, yes. I says, but will you move that spider web and I'll come down? And he did. And he said to me, Hugh, you have just confirmed a conspiracy against yourself. And I went, thank you. And that made me feel safe. And he said that to me. When we got in the car, Paul was very elated. He said, let me phone my wife. So it's just my suspicions that an awful lot must have happened overnight. I didn't take much notice of the conversation with his wife or whatever. It was just... Anyway, they took me straight home. They dropped me off outside the post office in Feltham Hill Road. And there I got some cigarettes from home. And I got in just in time to hear the 10 o'clock news, I think, and it said Hugh Boyle has been found safe and well. So now my daughter's gone. I love my daughter so much, and as I say, I want that chance to explain as to why I love my daughter so much and why I went through what others in authority said. Hugh, you have been through hell. Irrespective of all that, I now want to just say some things that I feel are very important. Okay. In the afternoon of the 7th of October, I phoned the social workers to ask about my daughter, and they said that I must go and get a solicitor. I'm thinking, why? Apparently they've given my daughter back to her mother. I believe they'd given the mother her two daughters back as well, and then made it all look like a happy family and nothing had ever happened. Well, a lot of things did happen. because I had said to Surrey Police that this is not, I was in their catchment area, I said this is not by any means anything to do with yourself, this is all the Metropolitan and that of Hounslow's police stations issues. And there was an awful lot of surveillance on me and me Tara. Every day I was taking her to school, they were always there with me, and because they were responsible for anything happened to us. Me and me Tara to go and live everywhere. Anyway, sometimes I might wander off. This is a very, very difficult one to go from A to B to C to D. It's just, I'm trying my best here. So anyway, I've done that motorway gantry, and then I've done it another 10 times, 9 of which are recorded. Once it was a cold night, I had no tent with me or proper clothing, and I'm up there for about half an hour, and I come back down and nobody was none the wiser. So there was 9. I even spent 3 days up above Gantry, 1212 Kent's Junction, one of the M3 motorway. I even taken threatened civil action against the Metropolitan Police, Feltham Social Workers, Hounslow Council, and my family law solicitors, Mackenzie & Co. Anyway, I think it was roughly November, December. I've got a civil matter down at Brentford County Court to sue Sir John Stevens. Anyway, their solicitor Katrina Joland appeared and blah blah blah. And I just said to Judge Allen, basically I went to Hounslow Police Station today to get a factual report that was promised by Inspector John Ogue. I never got that. However, when I did go to the police station that same morning, the duties inspector, her name is Inspector Sagar, she's now at Scotland Yard. She was standing next to another inspector, I don't know his name, and he said to me, Hugh, I don't think you'll ever get the truth of this case. Anyway, I was told more or less to stop taking on the world. But excuse me, I'd just taken on the world to make sure my little girl was okay. Up and down the country, everywhere, and had to explain myself so many times about paperwork. It was so difficult. People just couldn't believe it was happening. Now, regarding the 22-page letter, I got a telephone call at home from a Detective Sergeant Staunton, who was rather looking forward to meeting me the next day. We'd arranged to meet. I can't remember which date it was anyway. When I met Gary Staunton, he said, Hugh, by this time next year, you will be a better man. He also said to me, God knows how many copies of this letter you've got, because I told him he could keep the original. He also said to me, Hugh, we are sorry, and that the Met's way of thinking was that of the Stephen Lawrence case, because it was just pretty sort of just come out about the racial things about calling people black or Pakistani people, Pakis or whatever. And this is what I was accused of, which I didn't do. I'm not a racist. And that someone should have taken us off the streets. He also said society was not ready for a man with his little girl. I can appreciate this. That we presented ourselves to all, and someone should have helped us. Anyway, after 5 or 10 minutes of me saying what I had to say to D.S. Staunton, I stood up and I said to him, someone is going to pay for this. Because if I get the chance to tell what we went through, I simply wouldn't be believed to where we were. God, anyway. So, it turns out because of this letter, the council were blaming the police were blaming the council were blaming my family law solicitors, my family law solicitors were blaming the police and the council. Social workers were, well, I heard it got rather messy. Now my father never phones anyone, okay, but my father had phoned me on my landline, and this landline was actually listened to by the police as well, okay. Telephone number 01784 252 186. Because my stepdad was on the phone one evening, and they got my daughter, who was only 4 at the time. Yeah, they got her to say fucking bastard to somebody over the telephone, and then a police officer then interrupted the conversation and said this is a police officer, and anyway, made himself known. I warned the girls that the phone was getting listened to. Anyway, my father has said, Hugh, son, you've got them all blaming each other. And I said, well, Dad, as long as they're not blaming me. My father had pumped me on another occasion as well, because I was in a pub one evening and I wanted to tell the owner of the pub off for not helping me and my little girl when we were on the streets, considering the amount of help that I'd given to this man to decorate his pub free of charge. So I went, and anyway, these Polish guys gave me a kick in my right thigh, and maybe, I don't know, I thought maybe it was broken, I don't know, and the police went to my father's house in Scotland, and my dad told me, Hugh, son, the police are here and they want me to make sure you're okay. So, hence that. So, and that was that time. Then on another occasion, my father had asked me, he said, Hugh, son, who is it you know? And I thought to myself, oh my God, not my dad as well, of all people, asking me this. You know, you'd think, you know, I'd no one for support. Nobody. I was all on my own. I didn't even tell my little sister Maria. Bless her, she's a very good girl. My sister Maria has come to visit me quite often. I've given Maria all of my paperwork. It's in Scotland, up in her loft at the moment. I'm maybe hoping that something can be achieved between myself and your good office regarding closure. And I would like to give this paperwork back. I do remember as well, after I'd sent that 22-page letter as well, one evening I was driven to Hounslow police station, and I'd left my immediate paperwork on the front desk of Hounslow police station with a little letter explaining, can you put this amount of money into a bank account? Goodness me, well, yeah, now look back on it, wow. Right, where was I? Yeah, getting back to my father asking me who is it I know. Well, people must think that was highly plausible because I was working for various removal companies for many years, and you meet many people in many professions. I've moved many police officers. I mean, you see their uniforms and their wardrobes when you're going to pack. You get chatting to the customers, and that's just it. I would always put myself out of my way and make sure that day would go as smoothly as possible, because I believe in a survey that was one of the most stressful days is doing a moving home. I never knew anybody special to oversee this. I was just scared and I had to say that. And yeah, I was told that I'm very convincing. So be it if I'm very convincing. It's just the way things were. And just the way things developed. And I can't even use that word out of my remit really, because and whose remit was it? I just wanted to make sure my little girl was okay. Her mother wanted to go and do other things and met someone else, and whatever her story is, whatever, and I know that she loved her to a degree, but I really couldn't do without my wee girl. And even when we were separated, I haven't got those words. I haven't. But at a later date, if I'm fortunate enough to be spoken with, I will get very close to those words to explain about me and Tara. I haven't seen Tara for the past 8 months. Heartbreaking to see her when I'm in this condition. But so be it. It is what it is. And I want to emphasise again, I have never ever told one lie. Everything I've ever said or written has been the whole truth. The only one little lie I've ever told was that I knew someone special that was overseeing this case, because if I get my ultimate interview, I'll explain why and what made me scared. So yeah, I contacted the IPCC then, I had a caseworker, then I had a senior caseworker. They did not conduct my case properly. I've got my file. Obviously that's with the rest of my documents in Scotland now. And I asked my senior caseworker, I think it was Richard something anyway, and I asked him if the commissioner of the IPCC is aware of this case, and he replied yes. There was an awful lot of empathy to this case. Then I was in between the Department of Professional Standards. And this office was based in Putney. And I met Detective Inspector David Pascoe. And it was either Detective Sergeant Brown or just Sergeant Brown. Okay? And cut a long story short, D.I. Pascoe said to me, he said, Hugh, a police officer is only going to get a bollocking. What more can I do? Now, in respect of all of the motorway protests, there's, many reasons as to why I was still kept protesting. People ask me, why are you still doing this? And I say, well, one of my favourite ones was like, if there was like a television broken, and you went once to try and fix it, and you went again to try and fix it, and let's just say, well, the 9th or the 10th time you went to it, and way, you got it fixed. Now, I was getting nowhere with nobody in authority, and no one wanted to speak with me. It seemed like, do not touch me with a barge pole. Do not even say nothing to him, or he will have your name on a banner and have you up hanging from a motorway, your name. But there's still things happening where I'm still rather scared and worried if is anything going to happen to me. So I've got all that burden, and then is what they would call it, taking on everyone in authority. So it's like, I just kept doing it, I kept getting sectioned, Asbourne made ban me from protesting on every motorway, Grass Verge, A Road. Anyway, I think the word was, or a newspaper reporter told me, she said, the word is determined. I think that came from Surrey Police. He's determined. Too right, I was determined. And yeah, I climbed a crane. I'm scared of heights. But it's hard to explain. When you've lost everything and you're scared and you don't trust anybody and having no support, no roof over your head, no money. It wasn't very nice. The amount of court cases involving family law, and then the criminal public nuisance side of things, the amount of barristers and solicitors, and yet not one of them, out of all those solicitors I had, could even offer me a wee bit of support in finding me someone, a solicitor, to help me pursue the civil matters, or even to have enough guts to tell a judge what was happening with me in this case, and would take my child. They scared me, and they've driven me to all of this. So in my eyes, there is something badly wrong here. Hence the reason, cover up. And Mr. Alan Stacey, MBE, I met him roughly 2006, blah blah blah. I was very straight here. I didn't trust Mr. Stacey. Mr. Stacey came in to glean information from me on behalf of another agency. Pardon me. Alan's words to me were, Hugh, what's it going to take to end all this? I said to him, well, my daughter back in my life, and there's a little thing called loss of earnings, and a loss of earnings / hardship payment, which I said to him about £30,000 to £40,000, and out of that I would be putting quite a lot of that by for Tara. And this meeting was at I think the Sunrise Calf in Hounslow, next to the Boyle house, just round about there. He shook my hand, but you know, the way he shook my hand was like, he tried to say he was my friend, but it was like a very cold handshake. It wasn't like, yeah. And he said to me, he's very confident of a settlement. So I went to Scotland, I think, a couple of days later, and I was expecting to hear from Alan. I said to him, you're dragging your feet, Alan, what's happening? And he said to me, right, you'll need to convince us, not me, he says, no, not himself, he says, you'll need to convince us that you do not know anyone special overseeing this case. Well, cut a long story short here, I'll go into more details if it is the case you maybe want them. I chose there and then just to twist Alan's mind, because Alan's reply to me was, Hugh, you have just convinced me that you know someone special. So I'll tell you how I've done that to him at a later date if required. Now, Alan also, over a couple of years, I tormented Alan. I gave it to that man really bad, because he conned me into thinking he was there to help. Alan said, I said to him, would you like some paperwork about me, Alan, to see some things? And he said, Hugh, do you know how much paperwork I've actually got on you? I said to him, where did you get that from? He said, your solicitor gave it to me. He also said, Hugh, after I've spoken with you, do you know how many people I speak with after speaking with you? Well, he didn't tell me, but it's up to him. Alan said they did have a breakdown over this case. And then it was only a couple of years back there, I asked Alan why he was very confident of a settlement, and other things that he said to me as well. He said, Hugh, he says, I was just nominated to get my MBE. He says, I was in cloud nine. I thought I could take on anything in the world. He says, and it just turned out not to be the case, that I couldn't handle this. And I also heard that solicitors, and I believe them to be from Mackenzie and Co., and other people were in hospital over this case because they were arguing so much. I do have a witness to this as well, this person actually seeing them and arguing with each other who was going to write the letter of apology to Mr. Boyle. Alan also said to me that the exact words were, Hughie, I don't think you'll ever get to hear the truth about this case. And then he said, and we don't think that you would want to hear it either. When something like that is said to you, you try to, it beggars belief, you wouldn't know where to start or of assumption. There's many things that, I've done an awful lot of faxing to Downing Street, various social work, solicitors, and I think that's what saved my butt really, because an awful lot of writing from prisons as well, because all those faxes and things like that, it was me writing from my heart and what was happening, and I'm in a situation where no one's speaking with me, so I'm having to try and just assume to the best I can, so it's like, maybe people in authority want to ask me, how did I assume that, or assume this, and pretty frankly, it wasn't all that hard to assume, because if you see something happening, or that person there, well, I know why they were there, or why they said this, or why they done that, because it just seemed like, well, whatever, it's just, I must have got it right so many times, I believe. But anyway, yes, I believe there's a cover-up to this, okay? There was a lovely newspaper reporter. I don't want to be a pure telltale, but if that day comes, I will tell as to what was said to me. And yes, a police officer was involved in a conspiracy against myself. If it wasn't for that officer, things are a different. And yes, I know that when you take on civil matters, there is only a certain amount of time limit. But in my defence here, told that you're not going to be getting the truth, all things, I believe, must be put on hold until you get that proof, you get that evidence. And if it's not for the want of trying, I'll try to get the truth out. I went to the M25 once, I even broken my asbo, and it said, I need the truth out. Then underneath it, Hugh Boyle. The only thing that was mentioned on the news was, there was a protester on the M25 this afternoon. Police refused to comment or say why. And I also think Mr. Blair come back one day early from his 3-day visit to Africa on the 6th of October 2004, because there was no one else in the country telling the authorities that the police were doing conspiracies on them and covering things up and doing all the rest of it. So I would stake some money on it that it did get to the attention of Mr. Blair. And I know that this case got very, very senior, very high profile, so to speak. I'm not stupid. And when people met me for the first time in their life, they would look at me with, like, and it's just, wow. But I shouldn't have been made to do all that protesting, putting me in those mental units with those not so well people. It just changed my whole perception of mankind. No, I don't want to go on much longer, but there's an awful lot of horrific things that I would like to speak about at a later date. Anyway, getting back to getting the truth out, M25, I was jailed again for breaking my antisocial behaviour order. And I climbed a crane and, well, they brought me down. The fire engine came and got me down. That crane shaft, that was all frosted over, and I had to climb that. I was very, very lucky. I had to climb that inner framework of that crane. The police released me that day. I heard it was on the news. I've never been fortunate enough to see myself on the news. Then I done the Heathrow airport, and deep down, although I had my own situation, I really desperately tried to get the truth out. I also felt so sorry for dads, because let's face it, we can all fall out in this world. Mums and dad can fall out. Oh, he done that, she done that. So I wrote on the banner, super mediation is the answer to the family law crisis. Look at the amount of poor men or whatever have got to go to work, go and pay their wages to a solicitor, just so they can see their children. It's sad, very sad. I can understand in exceptional cases, obviously, they've got to go to court and get those issues addressed about whatever, whatever's happened within the relationship, or, so forth. Yeah, where was I there? Yeah, so super mediation is the answer to the family law crisis, yeah. So I hope I've done a little bit for them there. Something I had to say there. It's completely lost it. Goodness me. It might come back to me in a second. Right, well, I've done as much as I could, yeah, that's what I like to say. So, literally, my daughter's been taken from me, and obviously, the actual words of my father as well, back when he made the phone call to me in 2004, said, Hugh, son, they're scared that they make the wrong move with you and Tara. Because obviously the authorities knew that they already made so many bad moves and didn't listen to me. So take my daughter, give her back to her mother. I'm lying in prisons and in mental units, and then you've got a Mr. Faisal Khan sexually abusing my two stepdaughters. He penetrated little Tanya. He fathered a child to Radhika. He tried to put something in my daughter's mouth. And you've got me lying in prison and mental units. How do you expect someone to forgive people like that? I'm not giving you everybody blame. I'm no angel. But this man was not even taken care of by the police. Detective Constable Haley White from Felton, she said to me, Hugh, Radhika and Tanya keep changing their stories about Mr. Khan. But then I'd already spoken with the girls because the police brought Tara home to live with me here when she was 12 because of that man and what he'd done to Tara. And the girls, I said to the girls, DC Haley White has said to me that the girls keep changing their stories. I asked the girls, why do you keep changing their stories? They says, Hughie, my mum told us to change their stories. Somewhere along the line, when I watch the news as well, you see historical, child sex abuse cases and people getting charged. Why can't it happen to this man? Why? And I believe my daughter, I believe my stepdaughters, he did do that to those girls. Now, I'm not giving everybody the blame for everything, but all the stress. That could have brought my terminal cancer on as well. And I know there's a way you can get that man. But once again, I have never ever known anybody overseeing this case flipping scared out and whatever you want to say. It was me, I was scared. And yes, even though I'm in this condition and bedridden, please forgive the expression of like, I have got nothing to lose, but the sad reality is I've got nothing to lose. And for me to get some kind of closure on this case, if it was the darkest of clouds outside right now and I get some sort of a closure, I can reassure you or anybody, to me, that sun would be shining brightly. And I would like to say this to you, and it's by no means a threat. I am prepared, even though I cannot even walk on these ankles, they're brittle. I am prepared to give it a very, very last try in respect with the unfurling of a banner, with the intention of never coming down as to where I am, because there's just not that trust. I was going to do it a few days back, but I had noticed your email to me, James, and I thank you for that, because I mean, I've got it up on my other little laptop here. This is my brother-in-law's laptop, because my other one, I tried to fill up my lighter and I dropped some gas on my buttons and my laptop, boy, doesn't work. So this is my very old one, and it takes about 20 minutes to start the thing up. Dear Mr. Boyle, thank you for your email. I will not mention this case to the Commissioner, as it would not assist you. If the Met are in a position to assist you, and it is appropriate to do so, we will of course endeavour to do so. This does not require the formal acknowledgement of the Commissioner. Regards, James. Yes, James, I can fully appreciate as to what you're saying, but please do not look at it as a threat. I would like to say, James, that if you were only in the know of many, many things regarding this case, then you would understand as to why it really needs the Commissioner. Now, James, regarding closure, I think it's rather simple, really. I want to say one thing before I mention about the closure. I'm a very considerate person. I know that an awful lot of background work was done in this case. There was no stone left unturned. I know that an awful lot of people were arguing as to where the blame lied. But the truth of the matter is, Detective Sergeant Gary Staunton got it in one. Society was not ready for a man for a little girl. Now, I'm not a great lover of the word justice. However, it's a human rights world now. Okay? But as I said, it's my belief that an awful lot of people did argue and blame each other and get rather not well. So for the sake of everybody, I would rather I would be gratefully appreciative of some support, or could you send somebody in to speak with me, because I think everyone's had enough, and I don't want anyone to suffer anymore. I think we've all learned, especially me. Right. Regarding closure, there's just some sort of acknowledgement of how difficult it was for me, and someone just to have a wee honest chat with me. Regarding human rights, all of little Tara's human rights were non-existent. There was dereliction by all when we approached everyone in authority to ask for help. But no, society wasn't ready for you, Hugh, were they? Well, I'm not going to go into all the little, oh, poor me and poor this and poor that. That's not me. Now, as far as I'm aware, my little Tara is working in a fast tan shop for I think maybe £4.80 an hour. In monetary terms, if we could be found to maybe get a little kitty together for Tara, to maybe get her to college or university to better herself, I would be so content. Regarding myself, I would like reimbursed for all of the faxes that I sent to Downing Street, solicitors, all the bus fares that had to go to all them court cases and, I think roughly about maybe, £5,000 should do that. Maybe a little bit of lost earnings, hardship payment, whatever. I would like that to be considered. And once again, I would like to say, reason being that I've asked you many times, James, about can it be the Commissioner, it's because of the seriousness. If you know some things that the police were doing, and the seriousness of it, then you would understand as to why I really wanted the Commissioner to be aware of this case. And finally, James, now please do not take these words the wrong way again. When I say I have got nothing to lose, and it is the case that I have got to go and do what I've got to do, then so be it. I thank you very much for your time, James, and the time is now 3:37, 3:38. Good afternoon, James, and good afternoon, Commissioner, if you see this. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.